security threats, stating members of any areas with security challenges. Wherever we send them, they should be assured that the place is safe and secure for them to serve. Well spoken, DG. Thank you very much. Now, you can't deny the impact of the scheme. My NYC was groundbreaking for me because even in my career, what I do today, my service year was used judiciously, still in line with the media. And if I had to do it all over again, I'd like to do it exactly as I did. Some others might have a different experience to share. But now that 77,000 has been promised and hopefully it is implemented next year, there are questions that will arise. The first is as to whether the government will fulfill their promise. Since it's the DG that said it, we should just imagine that is the president that spoke. So if the promise is not fulfilled, you know who to hold responsible. Secondly, would it be enough? Considering the economic realities on ground. And these days, we have to compare what a person is earning to a bag of rice. A bag of rice now seems to be the symbol of poverty. That's the poverty line. They used to say, how do you know a family that is poor? And then somebody will answer, if they live below, is it below or above $1 a day? That was how we used to check it before. Now is if their salary can comfortably buy a bag of rice. If the answer is no, well, then you know whether or not it's enough. But core members are not out buying bags of rice every month. I've been a core member. If anything, they are buying it in smaller units. Madam, put 2 cups. Yeah, that's the life of a core member. So my concern, and I don't even know if this is something I should be concerned about, is that core members are receiving more than the minimum wage. The minimum wage is 70,000 naira. Now, not everyone gets that. That's the very basic, the low levels. As you go higher, right, the pay is higher, which is why it's called minimum wage. But by virtue of just being a graduate in Nigeria, going through a tertiary institution, graduating and serving, you're earning 7,000 naira higher than someone who earns minimum wage. And it's been like that for quite some time. Even when the minimum wage was 30,000 naira, the allowance was 33. As a matter of fact, it's still 33. 77 starts from next month, which begins tomorrow. So the NYC allowance has always been a few thousand naira higher, just a notch higher than the minimum wage. As a federal government Pekin, you deserve a little more. So that means that every time the minimum wage is increased, people are looking in the direction of the NYC allowance. And core members and stakeholders have been clamoring for an increase in the allowance of core members from, I think, last year when the minimum wage thing was deliberated. Finally, the DG has said you will get it. So my first question is, with the current economic reality, will 77,000 naira be enough to cover all the expenses of core members, especially those posted to rural or more expensive areas? That's one. The second question is, can we afford to keep the NYC scheme? Now, I ask that question with mixed feelings because I know that my NYC, my service year was impactful for me. I can tell you very clearly, it had a very important impact in my career. Because through my entire service year, I was still in the media. I was already in media. And I served in that capacity. So I know what that did for my career. But can the government still afford it? Because guess what? It has to make the budget. With every increase in minimum wage, we have to think about increase in NYC allowance. And for the longest time, we have borrowed to support the budget. So that means the NYC allowance will always keep going up. Considering how our politicians claim there is no money, we don't have money for this, we cannot do that. Can Nigeria continue to run the NYC program? If we decide to continue, will 77,000 naira be enough for a core member? considering the current economic realities. And what's your take on that allowance being just a bit higher than the minimum wage? Questions begging important answers. 0817 0002 0817 0003. WhatsApp is 080 903 416. Turn off your radio as you call. Hello, good evening.
Yes, good evening, SOC.
Good evening. What's your name?
Triumphant Agava, calling from River State.
Amazing. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Okay, you see, human needs are insatiable according to economics.
True.
And that means you cannot exclude coppers from the humans. So that means the 77,000 naira would be helpful, but will not be enough because their needs are insatiable.
Okay.
But like you and I know, an increase from 33,000 naira to 77,000, I think we go a long way because I have spoken with a good number of them in River State and also when I'm privileged to go outside River State. And they have complained that they are going through a lot considering the cost of living.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, that makes them loiter about. They are not stable because they want to see how they could
make more money,
increase their lot and all that. But I think it will be a step in the right direction if government can fulfill this promise, because at least it will make them stable and focused, and can also make them afford some one or two things that will enhance their living in another man's state.
Okay.
Because as you and I know, they are not in their states, except few of them. When you are going to another man's land, you need a lot to be stable.
I agree.
And also,
I have a break coming up shortly. Sorry.
Like you said,
yeah.
I think if the government wants to sustain, if they are sincere to themselves, they can sustain it because, you know, these students go through a lot during their tertiary days.
Okay. So hold on. Sorry. I have to interrupt you. Hello. Hello. Hello.
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, I literally have 20 seconds to the break, so I just need you to answer directly. If you were to propose a figure that would be enough for them, how much would you propose? Very quickly.
Okay, I think 100,000 will do.
100,000
naira will do for them.
Okay. I like when we use round figure for such figures. Well, after the break, we talk some more. Stay with us. still is Hard Facts 92.3 Nigeria Info. Sam Oracle Chinedu here. And our conversation for this hour, or what is left of it, will be to leave 77 naira from February. In case you can get February to March, and that's good news. Post Facebook. The question here is, do you think the 77,000 naira will be enough to cover the expenses of course, especially those who have to rule or more save? Hell says, why? They missed it. Mary Melubari, who I'm guessing is a core member, says, first pay us this January. Oh no. Okay, Mary, I have a strong feeling they will. George Gubi says, from February to March, federal government. Bill 3, not bigger. Yes, I know Ikechukwu is talking about the value of the naira. And Okwando Obinna says, taking of the central and 100 leadership with law in America. Jason, no, this will help solve issues. Isaac Econo, still on Facebook, says, finally, okay. Isaac has been waiting for this. Wisdom Jumbo, they never received the one of January. You are talking about February. Be coming down. Be coming down. Godspire responded to him by saying, God bless you, brother. Core members are really suffering. This is absolute wickedness. My goodness. Prince Obunka, February will still reach. Hope you won't send it to August this time. It's like Copper's Alawi is becoming Port Harcourt refinery saga. Oh, Lord have mercy. And final comments on Facebook. Manuel Onwell Jr. says, coppers are seeing blue and black. A lot is currently going on. Lawson calls from Yenogwa. Good evening, Lawson. How you doing?
Fine. Sam.
Good evening.
This thing did not add up. 77 is federal allowance. You also have state allowance. And even at the state allowance, you have the rural allowance. There are people who even at the state level earn more because they are the rural area. And even the primary area of assignment, most of them also give some kind of allowance. Plus PP, private practice, corpers, they do that a lot. So when you add all of those, there are some corpers that are even earning more than civil servants.
I agree. But these are a select few.
They are earning more than civil servants. Like here, Yenegua, where I'm calling, I can tell you there are corpers that some of them that I know that come to the church, even in our church, to give a testimony that they finish and they bought a car.
Okay, so, that's good. That's good.
I'm telling you, you don't even you don't even know how, because some of them they do a lot of things, and I'm telling you, big testimonies from corporates. So when you put all of it together, corporates are really enjoying. Some of them, I know some may not, but these allowances are what they get.
All right.
So I want you to put all of it together, and then let us see. Like state allowances from that of Rivers, Bayelsa, Delta, Akwa Ibom is bigger than some other states, but they give them something very reasonable. So let's put it together, and then we'll now see what the corporates are getting. But when you say 77, they look as if that's just what they get.
All right, Lawson, thank you very much. I completely agree with your position, but I'm glad that towards the end of your speech, you said some. There are core members who only get the federal alawi. As a matter of fact, my PPA did not pay me a dime. All I had when I served was the federal allowance. Right? Even for the states, there are state governments that don't pay. Right? It's a known fact. If you are a core member and you get more than one allowance, you are among all men most fortunate. I know that they treat doctors, people who graduated from medicine, there's a special preference for obvious reasons, right? Their call it seems like it's a higher calling than we mere mortals that are not saving lives. I get that. And every time doctors, who are serving always feel like, let me not even remember what those people did to us, right? So there are special considerations for medical core members. You can't fight it. I don't think I ever had a problem with it. But there are lots of core members that is just the federal alawi that is the only thing. Some state governments, they're not looking at your face. Some PPA, my PPA did not pay. So whenever there was a delay, oh my goodness, somebody God is going to bless for me. Whenever there was a delay in payments, I wanted to die. And that time you see core members asking how far they don't pay, you don't receive anything. You say, oh, but I never see anything. No. Hunger, that period, it comes with a vengeance. Thanks for, of course, adding that. But many core members only have this 77,000 if and when it comes as the allowance for the month. 08179230002. 08179230003. Please turn off your radio as you call. It's very important. Michael says, oh, Sam, I miss your Saturday morning show. The music. Oh, yes, I always play that. Thank you again. A few people responding to the music. NYC to receive 7K is a welcome development. It will go a long way for them, even though it can't cover all the expenses. Let it be implemented. Day Saifa says, hello, good evening.
Good evening, Oracle Sam.
Good evening.
Chinke Daniel Mogeto Swako.
Good evening, Chinke Daniel. Please go ahead.
Yes, for me, it is not enough. I know many will say they will not, even when they pay. Like what you rightly said, our minimum wage can't buy a bag of rice because we now use a bag of rice. And one other thing I want to ask, Sam, is why can't government, if they can be able to pay that, why can't government sustain it by giving core members automatic employment only for those who are not okay with that, can then leave and go to their various distance? Why can't they sustain it so that wherever they are, then they will be paid that amount? And again, our lawmakers, that's why I don't even blame our president. Our lawmakers are those that make the laws that govern this country, which means our president is even under that. But they are buying tech cars, living large, while core members and ordinary Nigerians are suffering. Let me talk. Thank you very much.
All right, Chinke Daniel, thank you very much. While that seems like a good idea, right? There are a few reasons why it might not work. Stating that wherever you're posted, automatic employment, and you have to pay that amount. Many people are posted to the private sector. No, let me start like this. There are lots of people posted to PPAs that they don't like. As a matter of fact, the biggest consumer of core members would be the education sector. Almost everybody teaches in one school, in some rural community, and people come back with many stories, right? So first of all, you have core members who do not like where they are posted, meaning that they want to leave immediately. They are done. Some don't even wait till they are done. Secondly, the federal government making the employment automatic. This means that you are forcing core members on employers, whether they are in the private or public sector. And this continues every year. Of course, the pay is minimum wage, so by law, you have to pay. But what that means is every year, you're going to get 4, 5, 6 people that you must employ thanks to a law. So if you look at it, it might not be fair to the employer. There should be a better way to have, the NYC scheme connect with recruitment and employment and all of that. But, making it a law, I don't think that's feasible. Manny calls from Eleme Junction. Good evening.
Yeah, Sam. Good evening.
Good evening.
This is Manny Ubani. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I think there should be some consistency and law by the federal government regarding this, National Youth Service Corps scheme. You see, some states have not even been able to pay, the previous minimum wage the government, decided upon. And this 77,000 they're talking about now, what's the difference between 7,000 and 77,000? When we had the former minimum wage of 18,000, the couples were receiving 19,800. So if you want to graduate, the minimum wage, which is for cleaner, and the graduate, what the person should be receiving, it cannot be 7,000 naira difference. So there must be a very, meticulous study and a law to ensure that every state, consistently pays with other states. Because somebody has mentioned that that's where rivers are better. I don't think it should be that way. It should be uniform throughout the
Thank you very much, Manny. Let me do justice to my messages. My brother, good evening. This message reads, how about the arrears of the allowance for the 77,000 naira new minimum wage from August? NYCDG should please be up and doing. Okay. I hope he hears and he answers. Let's get the 77K first, right? Let core members receive it first to be sure that it's coming when it's promised before we start asking for the arrears. So I'm following your question. The increase of NYC allowance of 77,000 can assist, but may not be enough because of inflation. Nigeria can sustain and should sustain the program. And the problem of Nigeria is not money, but how to spend it. Wow. That's interesting. That's the kind of problem I'd like to have. John Nwagugu says on WhatsApp. Owanete Clinton West. Good evening, Sam. Core members will be receiving 77,000 naira soon in order to cushion the economic reality. The 77K is not enough, but manageable considering the hardship NYC members are going through on a daily basis. The economic situation is getting out of control. Majority of Nigerians cannot afford 2 square meals, let alone 3. This is quite unfortunate that core members are going through the economic hardship. Let 77,000 naira be sustainable. The aim and objective of NYC program has been defeated. The government should scrap the program. Owanete West says. And Alozie calls from Omuma. Good evening, Alozie.
Oracle, good evening.
Good evening.
Oracle, the truth be told. Yes, 77,000 naira, considering the economic quagmire we found ourselves, is commendable.
Okay.
For how long? The next question is, this youth copper, who is earning 77,000 naira, have we tried to scrutinize his logistics and other costs? I'm not even talking of feeding. I think the right thing we should do, if we want to go as a nation, this money wastes in, right from camping, producing of this uniform and other things. There are some way we use it to build things that we engage, like industries, that we engage this graduate. For me, I did NYC. But after the 1 year, I'm telling my experience is horrible. So I've sit down to think about this. Universities should train graduates that is employable in the labor, not after graduating from school. You will go and learn one acquisition or the other to back up your certificate. So our curriculum starting from the university should change.
Okay.
This NYC something. For me, it will not go anywhere.
Okay.
We need to change that narrative by putting in these resources to produce things.
All right, Alozie. Thank you very much. Thank God Ability at Webu on WhatsApp says, greetings, 77,000 naira minimum wage is meaningless because our naira has no value again. Okay. And Andy Mayo says, good evening. Core members have been through a lot. They have become corporate beggars. Minimum wage during this dispensation is confusing. The same amount is added to all federal staff across board. No consequential adjustment till date. And he goes on to say the first caller is far from reality. 98% of core members depend on federal allowance. I can't speak to the percentage, but I know it's a majority. A lot of people don't get other allowances besides what the federal government offers. Let the state government also look into the allowance they pay core members in addition by increasing their allowances, DCFA says. Okay. And Akanto from Bori would be my final call. Hello, Akanto.
My Oracle.
Good evening.
Good evening, my Oracle. I've been a long time. How are you doing this evening?
I'm well. How are you doing?
Oracle, my view on what the Oracle meant.
Can you please turn off your radio?
Okay, let me do that. Is it okay now, Oracle?
I guess so. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Oracle, do you are finding some local government staff in the local service commission are earning about 30,000 naira to 40,000 in a month, and they have families they are catering for. To me, if federal government, I serve in Akwa Ibom State during my NSC, how much was the money? 9,800 naira was our fee. And I was having children at home. And I used that to cater for the welfare of my children, my young kids at home, and even my wife, when I was in service. The money is not the issue. If federal government raise the bar to about 70 in the month, NYSC the core member should be able to utilize it. It's big money, but to some person who think there is very small money. You can divide a limit to utilize that money to start a small business in wherever you are doing your mandatory service here. You can use that in your history because you are single, that you can use for sit down in saving and do other things. If we are waiting that even though federal government increase about 200, 500 naira, with the rate of the economic biting in the country, we cannot make up use of it. Somebody talked about the way we spend, not the amount of money we are earning. We should utilize the little one we are doing. I want to kudos to the federal government if they can do it too, and the core member should live within the level of that their money. Good evening, Oracle.
All right, good evening. Thank you very much. Well, that is my final call. Majority of the reactions were about the fulfillment of the promise. Yes, some said money will not be enough. Some are asking about sustainability. But the fact that many people do not think it will start in February, that's a problem. It shows that the people do not trust their government. It shows that they don't take the authorities seriously. That accountability is a missing part of the equation. And how do you get to a point where you make a promise and a lot of people are like, oh yeah, let's hope? It means that you have failed them more times than they can number. So federal government, NYSC, whoever is responsible, please make this work in February so that you can regain the faith and the hope of people in the system. And let's find a way to meet each other somewhere. Maybe you can't give core members all they would need to survive in a month. But if the effort is clear, then maybe, just maybe, we can once again believe in Project Nigeria. Thank you very much. Well, this is the last conversation on Hard Facts for today. It's an awesomeness that you have been a part of every single one. Coming up at 6 is the major news. After that, we'll have open season. It's where you get to respond or react to the stories we've taken on the show today. Please stay with us.
Strict compliance to safety rules and regulations help save lives and prevent destruction of property at your home or business. However, if emergencies arise, please make use of the following numbers to get help from the Rivers Emergency Service: 0904 022